Welcome to Mammon Podcast. Mike and Mike on Mike. The top 5 podcast. Let's start that again. Beep.
Top 5 podcast.
Welcome to Mike and Mike on Mike, also known as Mammon Podcasts. A top 5 podcast where we talk about our top 5 favourite things, and really more because we do audible mentions, so maybe we need to edit that.
Yeah.
Top 5-ish. And today we are talking about, I think, one that people listening about, that doesn't count. And we're doing top 5 underrated game franchises.
What do you mean by that doesn't count?
I don't know. I feel like either they're going to say that's not a game franchise or that's not underrated.
Yes. I definitely feel the underrated side of it is a thing that I'm going to get criticism for.
I just don't think I've played enough sort of like quirky games, I guess.
Yeah.
When I did a bit of research into this to get some ideas, which was absolutely useless. And it's the only time I've done it, to be fair. The rest I've just done off the top of my head. But this one I was like, I don't really know what it, I'll check into this a bit. And they were all like Japanese games, which, some of them I've heard of, like the Yakuza series. Spoiler alert, I'm not picking that.
Great
I've
game.
Not played them.
Great game, though. Or great games. So they're not underrated, in my opinion.
Well, the recent one's pretty popular, I think. So I
Yeah.
don't know how underrated it is anymore. Maybe they used to be. Or, what's the other games I've heard? I think that was the only one I can remember off the top of my head.
I think Final Fantasy is quite an underrated Japanese video game franchise, isn't it?
Never heard of it.
No. Definitely one of those unique ones that's quite niche. But spoiler alert, I don't like.
I've
Never
played, really.
I've never been able to get into them. I've tried a few times, never been able to get into them.
I've downloaded Final Fantasy X onto a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Because I've got the game, and I know people absolutely rave about it. I think it was PS2, wasn't it, originally?
Maybe.
So, yeah, I'm going to try and give that a go, because I know people love it.
Well, I tried to play, because I've got the PS1 Classic at home, and I've got Final Fantasy VIII on it, which I know is another one which everyone raves about. But yeah, just not interested. I tried playing it, I just found it dull.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just one of those that's not aged well if you're not a huge fan already.
You have to have played it at a time. Because oddly, it's one of the few games, Final Fantasy VIII, that my wife Lauren's played all the way through.
What's so weird?
Yeah, such an obscure one to be... Well, not obscure in the slightest, but like if you don't consider yourself a gamer, that seems like an odd one to pick as the only game you played all the way through.
When I hear about Final Fantasy, I hear about 10, 9, and 7. I don't really hear about 8. So, like, as well, it's not like she's played a popular... I imagine it's popular if you're a Final Fantasy fan, but as a non-Final Fantasy fan, that's not one in the series I ever hear about as one of the best, if you know what I mean.
I thought it was one of the top ones. I might be thinking of another one then.
7's the sort of iconic one that people
Hold on,
say...
is it 7? That shows my... Yes, it's 7.
So, yeah, that shows your absolute lack of
knowledge
love for it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy VII that I had on the PS1 Classic and just couldn't get into, but my wife has played.
Crazy. And funny that she played one of the popular ones. I imagine sort of before it was popular, so to speak.
Yeah, probably.
Right, other than your wife's hipster claim to fame, what other Lauren news do you have for us?
I feel that's very leading. Well, I say leading. It feels as though there's a very, very much an answer that you want me to tell you.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to do segues here, and you just shit all over it, but okay.
Okay, so the other Lauren news is that she's fast asleep right now.
And can I just check, because obviously we were talking about her medical state not that long ago. Is she still allergic to nuts?
Yes, she is. And
also, that might sound like a weird, dirty joke I make about your wife, people who don't. You know, she's genuinely allergic to nuts.
Yeah, she is. But we are pleased to announce that she did give birth 11 days ago. So, well, it'll be more than 11 days when you're listening to this, but when we're recording it, it's 11 days. So, yes, we've got a new baby boy.
His name's...
We're not going to say the name. His name's Reginald for reference.
And we're like 60% sure it's yours, which is brilliant news.
Yeah, everyone keeps on saying it looks like me. And
so
Lauren's got the proof that it looks like her. There's no way it's not hers, but this is my proof now. It looks like me. It really does. Like, it genuinely is like a baby form of me. I'll even agree it. It's like looking in a mirror.
We can put those doubts to bed then.
Mm-hmm. I keep on telling him to enjoy his hair, though, while he's got it.
Those beautiful locks.
Yes. But yeah, so that's the exciting news we got here. So, but we do apologise, or I apologise, if there's any grumbling or anything you hear in the background that I can't edit out, because I have given Lauren a bit of a break so she can have a little nap, and I've taken George upstairs with me to record the podcast. So this is his debut podcast.
What the thing is, obviously, ideally, he stays asleep.
Yes.
But if he does stay asleep, what does that say about our podcast?
That is soothing and relaxing.
Okay, well, that's the compliment. So, games again. I feel like we haven't done it in ages.
No, we've only done 2 games once. So we did top 5 games and top 5 childhood games, didn't we?
Yeah. I feel like this has got to be like other podcasts where we talk about games, semi-regularly. This has got to be the most sort of filthy casual 2 people talking on it ever. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like anyone else does a podcast about games has quite a bit of knowledge, or is like a super fan. But
yeah, and they'll be talking about these odd games like Eternia 5 to Final Wisdom.
Yeah, like one that I've again, another underrated one that I read actually that I have heard of and I've heard is amazing, but I've never played, called Persona.
Oh yes, I've heard good things about that one. See, JRPGs, they just don't interest me.
Yeah,
if that is a JRPG.
I'm assuming so. I love RPGs. But
yeah, same.
I don't know I think I love them for immersion, whereas they're a bit too quirky. Like I don't think I'd ever, like an RPG to me is you're meant to feel like you're in that world, or you're that character, or you're with the characters.
Absolutely.
Whereas when they're like really odd and weird, I'm like, well, that's the opposite of why I play an RPG.
Yeah, my favourite one, I can't remember what it's called now. It's really going to bug me. So it sort of defeats the point of talking about it on the podcast.
We'll cut this bit out.
Yeah. That was a great segue there. Yeah, moving on.
But I do think, there's something interesting in talking about it from a casual point of view.
Yeah. And we'd be intrigued to see what uncasual recommendations people give after they've listened to this podcast.
Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting to see if people do think they're underrated, or people, like say, even just. I think there's be one where the rest of them are quite subjective.
Yes,
you can't disagree that my favourite rom-com is X and Y, but you can disagree and say it's not underrated even.
So I love that you said X and Y when we know that your favourite rom-com.
Well, spoilers. What if they've started here and they're going backwards?
Oh, it's a fair point. I do love X and Y though. It is a great rom-com.
By the way, what I just said makes sense of why I said X and Y, but the real reason I've genuinely forgotten what my first choice was already. How bad is that?
I've got a rough idea. I think I know what it is.
But we'll go with being professional,
trying
to not spoil it for newcomers.
Does it feature... Is this a spoiler? Does it feature leukemia?
What?
But then again, I'm not sure there's many other rom-coms with leukemia, is there?
I think you'd be surprised, to be fair. There's that one called 5 Feet Apart, which is about those people with cystic fibrosis and stuff like that. So I think
that's not leukemia, but yeah.
No, but like severe and terminal illnesses have become since John Green has become popular, hasn't it now?
Yeah, I suppose what you mean. Yeah.
Even I remember watching years ago one of my sister's ones. Was it called The Last Dance or something like that? Where that had one where
Hilary Swank.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm sure it is. Wait, no, maybe Hilary Swank's an actual dance one.
What you hear here is Mike Googling what this is.
Oh, see, I've just Googled rom-com Girl Dies because that's all I remember about the film. And I've just got the top one is 18 terminal romance movies ranked.
Oh, that is a great list.
See, I told you it's become popular. Hey, no judgment if that's your little bit of heaven, decent. A Walk to Remember, that's it. And it's Nicholas Sparks' book, of course it is.
Of course
P.S.
it is,
I love
that makes
you.
Sense. Yep, that's Hilary Swank, isn't it? P.S. I Love You.
Absolutely hate myself. Love and Other Drugs. That should have been my number one.
I always thought you was going to have Love and Other Drugs in your list.
What an
I was surprised to hear that it never appeared, because you rave about it all the time to me.
I just forgot. That's the problem. And again, I think you're a bit more methodical with it. You're in fact, we're just talking about this. Even the way you talk about things, there's a thought process, there's a deliberation, there's structure there. Whereas I'm a shoot from the hip, good gut feeling, write them down and commit to them.
I've literally got in front of me top 5 underrated video game franchises. Then underneath that, a subheading, ideas. And underneath that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 ideas that might have made the list. I put next to them how many games are in their franchises, and then I've made a list underneath with some facts.
And do you know what was really sad is that I'd say 5 minutes is the longest I've ever taken on any of these, really, to do it. Some of them a minute maybe. And you put all this thought process in, but you seem to say the consensus in the minute is that people agree with my choice.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, Mike's done a great choice." What about me? Unless I'm getting confused, because when they say Mike, they're just talking to me
see,
in the third person.
If we ever get big enough, where random people start like shitting on us on social media,
you never know who it is.
No, I'll be like, mate, they'll be saying horrible things about you on there.
Oh, I love it. Right, should we crack on with the nitty gritty, or is there anything else you want to talk about? What have you been up to? I'm asked that question of you. Obviously, I had some big news.
Not a lot really.
Bowel movements been okay?
Is what? Sorry.
Have your bowel movements been okay?
Do you know what? Genuinely, I know you're taking the piss. First of all, love a poo. Hate a wee, love a poo. Sit down, read a book on your phone, whatever. I've been trying to eat breakfast. I'm not a breakfast person, but I've been having these like Activia active bacteria. Yeah. Honest to God, my shitting's been so regular and so like clean. I barely have to wipe. Like unbelievable. If you want to edit that out, edit it out. But do you know what?
I'm happy staying in. And Activia, if you want to sponsor us, give us a shout.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And do you know what? We can do like a skit where I'm recording on the toilet and like. Thanks to Activia, I can't record at my desk anymore because I'm so regular.
Love it.
Right, and on that creepy, weird note, number 5. Kick us off.
Hold on a second. Say number 5, just as George... No, he seems... I'm going to edit that out, so I said his name. Go again.
Also, I just thought, I don't think you really care about this podcast.
Why?
Because if you did, you would have called your son Mike.
Mike and Mike and Mike.
Yeah.
Or Mike. Mum.
So if you'd really, really cared about it, you would have committed.
Yeah, that's very true. Right, let's go. Go again.
Coming in at number 5. Start us off then, Mike.
Okay. Is this the one I'm going for number 5? I think it is. Okay. My number 5 is Lemmings.
Never played it, but I remember it being popular on PSP.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's one of the biggest selling games of all time.
Is it?
Yeah. But I think because of it's not played as much anymore, or is well known by a lot of people. It first came out in 1991, and I remember I used to play the original on the MS-DOS, and then a few years ago there was a version that came out on the Android store. It might also be on iTunes as well, and I became obsessed with it. Like literally months I spent playing this, and then annoyingly my phone completely died, and I lost all my save data, and I was
Which phone was it?
I can't remember, really can't remember. But I was so annoyed, and because I literally had lost so much worth of sort of gameplay, I just stopped playing it again. But it's genuinely a classic puzzle game that's absolutely phenomenal.
Like, talk me through, because like I say, I remember it being, I don't know, when I had a PSP, I'd Google like top PSP games to see what to sort of buy next, and I always considered it.
Yeah, so, because I remember because there's 8 versions of the game, sort of different games, but there's been loads of ports pretty much to every single console out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure at some point it did come out on the, or a version of it came out on the PSP. But what you do is there'd be numerous lemmings that slowly get dropped into the level. And there's loads of obstacles that sort of stop you from doing anything. And obviously if the lemmings fall from a great height, they'll die. Or if they go into lava or anything like that, they'll die, as you'd expect. And what you'd do is you'd assign a couple of power-ups to each thing, so that you could like dig, for example. You could dig across, or you could dig down. You could block lemmings, so one of them literally just puts its hand to the side, and that stops them from going any further in that direction.
Yeah.
And the idea was to get to the end goal with a target number of lemmings. But the thing is,
sort of like, to summarise it, you sort of in a bad situation because you're sort of trapped, and you've got to try and make the best of it.
Kind of, yeah.
So you could say when life gives you lemmings.
And that's been Mike and Mike on Mike. Thanks for listening. Oh, God. I think that's one of the worst things I've ever heard.
I know, it's the worst joke I've ever made, but I'm also super proud of it.
But yeah, anyway, I think underrated...
Does it control like worms? It looks a bit like worms.
No, it doesn't control... You physically don't you can't like say to the lemmings, go in that direction. They literally walk forwards until there's a block, and then they walk backwards until there's a block, and then they walk forwards, and then...
So you're just removing the blocks?
Yeah, so removing blocks or obstacles to allow... So you can like build, not ladders, but sort of stairs to go up places, to climb over the obstacles and stuff like that. But obviously, they might fall from a height if they reach the end before you stop them, and there's lots of things to consider. So you've really got to be on it in terms of paying attention. But it's just...
Now you've explained this, there's a lot of like knockoffs, I think, on phone games.
I'm sure there absolutely is. You know what I mean? I'm sure there is. It is a great game, but I just think because of how video games have evolved now, it's a franchise that doesn't get talked about at all. But I'll tell you something, on your phones, if you've got an Android and iPhone, look it up. It is a free game. It's got ads. No, it doesn't have ads, I think. I think it's just one of those things where you get 5 lives. But if you lose those 5 lives, then you just got to wait like 10 minutes before you can play again. One of those sort of ones. But actually, I remember just playing constantly, like not really losing the lives. It's a lot of fun. A great little puzzle game.
I like that. And do you know what? You genuinely, I'm going to play this game now.
Yeah, do it. I might re-download it on my phone as well.
Nice. I like that. That's a good first choice. And yeah. I don't think people can disagree with that. I think that is an underrated game franchise.
Yeah, yes, because it's not there anymore.
Yeah. Now, with you doing a really good, solid choice that makes sense, I've cheated on my first choice.
Oh, here we go. Mike in with the cheats.
This is my only one that I think is officially a cheat and people can argue with me over. This isn't a franchise.
Okay. So earlier when I said I'm not going to include one because there's only 2 games in it, he was like, oh, I think that'll count. Is that why you've said it?
Yeah, because this should have been a franchise and I don't understand why it wasn't. And I remember my friend, when he was like 23, 24, got really drunk, came back from the end of a night out, logged on to his computer, found the creator of this game, emailed them and said, please make a second one.
Really?
And actually got a response from him, yeah.
Wow, what was the response?
He just said, I'd love to have... it's one of those things I've always tried to sort of shop about. It's got like a cult following, I think. But there's just not enough interest because I think it's a bit of an odd concept. But yeah, it's called, I don't know if you ever played it on the PlayStation, Hogs of War.
I've heard of it. I haven't played it.
So it's a turn-based tactics game. A bit like, I guess, almost like a 3D Worms almost. You get like, you can move a character so much on your turn and they can, do something, they can shoot a gun, whatever. They had like, it was funny because they were pigs, dressed in the army, and they had, I can't remember what his name is now. Rick Mayall?
Oh yeah, from Young Ones.
Yeah. He, I remember from Drop Dead Fred.
Yes, great film.
Yeah, what a film. He voiced one of the characters in there as well. So that, it's great to hear that. It's World War One theme as well, which, like, I remember at the time when I played it, you start learning about World War 1 and 2, it was just fascinating, wasn't it? It just seemed so unbelievable. And it's when Medal of Honor was really popular as well, so it was interesting because you sort, I don't know, you got sort of used to, I think I came to the game late anyway, but I was so sick of sort of these typical World War 1 and World War 2 games that it was like a fresh breath air to have this sort of like Hogs, and it's like it's one of those games that I don't understand how it's not a franchise. Like, you could have done World War 2, you could have done it was the Call of Duty before Call of Duty. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Or should have been, in my opinion.
Well, looking on Wikipedia, it does look like they plan on doing. Well, they've started doing a remaster.
Oh, amazing!
And they released a card game version, and a miniatures game is also set for release this year.
We can play when we do our YouTube channel. We can play that.
Yeah, Hogs of War, the card game. Yeah. I'll be up for that.
But yeah, it was a game that felt like I don't know. It makes no sense. Look, it's just a feeling, but it's a game that felt like it was a franchise, even though it wasn't a franchise. It felt like there could be loads. There was so much potential for it to spin off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really sad that it didn't work because it was such a cool game and it was fun, but it was also competitive, like when you were playing it as well.
Well, I think it looks quite a good game actually. Looking at it, I'm wondering whether I have played it. That's what I'm trying to work out.
Let me have a look now at some of the sort of images.
This is what you tune in.
In my head, it looked a lot better than I'm seeing.
Oh
now.
No, it looks absolutely shite.
Yeah, but it was so good. So yeah, I've cheated on my first one, but I also don't give a shit because it was such a good game. And here we go. Here's our first petition from Mammon. I want us to get hashtag Hogs of War 2 trending on
Can I just
Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.
You say this is our first petition, but I'm sure we've attempted 3 prior to this. I know one of them definitely the remaster of Rugrats.
Yeah.
We definitely started another petition for something else, and now you're claiming that this is the first petition.
I feel like I should be a politician because I think that's what I do. I get like really passionate about it, and like let's do this, and then I do nothing with it.
Tell you what, when I social media-ise this episode, I'll put a spoiler alert, and I'll hashtag Hogs of War 2. I
also want some like patriotic music on the background behind me as I'm passionately trying to start this petition.
Okay, tell you what, you got 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. Give a very empowered speech on Hogs of War 2.
Hogs of War 2 would end COVID, war, and it would make us happy. What else would you rather do than play as an anthropomorphic pig in World War 1? Hogs of War 2, hashtag. I can't even do hashtag. Hashtag Hogs of War 2.
You just completely ruined that at the end.
But as I did my speech, I feel like I was giving up myself. I felt like I lost the passion for it as I was doing.
See, I thought you was getting more emotional at the end of it.
Yeah, there's a little tear there. But yeah, I mean, why not Hogs of War 2? I mean, Call of Duty gets a game every year. Fuck that shit. Let's
Call of Duty is absolutely awful, in my opinion. There was possibly 1 or 2 good games, but then I hate it.
Yeah, I had some great moments with zombies, and I think some of the Modern Warfare storylines were good, but...
See, I think Call of Duty 4 is the only one that I consider good.
I love Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2. I thought Black Ops 2 was okay, but both of those Black Ops were zombies, not anything else.
Oh, okay.
I mean, jetpacks they can lead.
Right. Solid choice, even if it's cheating.
I promise the rest are okay. Right, number 4.
Number 4. So this ties in nicely to you saying Call of Duty can go fuck itself, but also you mentioned this game on your last one, and it's Medal of Honor.
Yeah, I mean, I do love it, and I think you are right. I think especially in comparison to how big Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Exactly. I actually prefer the gameplay, and I think it's because at least the ones I played as a youngster, if you will, they focused a lot more on the single player. That's my issue with things like, is it Battlefront?
Battlefield,
that's it, sorry. And Call of Duty. They rely a lot on the multiplayer and the online gameplay, whereas Medal of Honor actually told a great World War story. I think it's Medal of Honor Underground, where you start off in the trenches.
As you said that as well, that's got to be one of the most iconic game cases, cover, whatever you call it. Because I can picture, I'm sure he's throwing one of those sort of German grenades in the picture.
He might be, actually.
Unless that's front line.
But I've just Googled, front line is actually the one I'm thinking of in terms of it starts off...
D-Day?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure it is, because all the pictures seem to show
that
sort of style.
Or definitely one of the first. I remember replaying that loads.
I know, it was absolutely phenomenal, and it really it was heavy on the because I remember you'd see the casualties as you just run around trying to defend yourself, because you'd literally start off on the boat, wouldn't you, to begin with? No, it can't have been D-Day. Either way.
It was D-Day.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah,
it was D-Day, wasn't it? And you ride up and you got all your sort of soldiers around you, and it really was quite emotional, and it really sort of ground down on how actually war isn't meant to be fun necessarily. Loved it, absolutely loved it, and like I said, I think it partly for me, because I'm not very good at sort of shoot 'em up games.
Yeah.
Call of Duty and Battlefield relies so much on the multiplayer that it actually sort of takes the fun out of it for me. But Medal of Honor was so much about sort of you in the single player and a good story that it was just absolutely phenomenal.
Did you, before playing it, had you watched Saving Private Ryan?
Yes, and it reminded me just of that, the opening scene.
Yeah, same. And you felt, I think that helped, didn't it, almost, because you had that...
realism there.
Yeah, 100%. That's so weird.
No, absolutely. Brilliant franchise, in my opinion, but definitely just been overtaken by the Call of Duty this day and age, because looking at it, there's actually still... when was the last game made? 2020. So they're still making games.
Yeah, but I think there's just big gaps between them, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that was a virtual reality, so I'm not including that. So the last one before that was actually in 2012.
What was that, Airborne?
Warfighter.
Oh, I remember Airborne coming out.
That was back in 2007.
Oh, wow, I'm old.
But yeah, so it's not been around for a long time, and it's just, really enjoy it. I miss it. I want to play it now.
Yeah, do you know what? As you say that, I do, like you said, I do remember there being a storyline. I do remember it didn't seem to glorify it as. I don't know, maybe that's just nostalgic glasses, but yeah, I didn't see them. It felt like it didn't glorify it as much.
No,
and I seem to remember it being one of the first games that had those sort of like big set piece moments. It wasn't just a shoot 'em up. It had those sort of, I don't know, iconic. Like you had the D-Day scene, and I seem to remember there being one where you're in a building and I was on like a balcony looking down at the sort of enemy.
Possibly. It's been a long time since I played any of these games on my list, as I'm sure with you, which is why they're probably underrated, because then there's nothing this day and age like these games. For my list at least, I think they're underrated. The ones that I picked have been underrated because they haven't continued as much, and people have forgotten about them. So yeah, can't remember huge amounts, but I just remember it being absolutely fantastic. I think it was PS2 was when no, it must have been the PC when I first started playing on it actually.
Look at you, little PC gamer.
I know, right?
I could never use the mouse and keyboard for
really?
shoot FPS games. No, even though I know they're better, I just can't do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely love Medal of Honor, and there should be more like it. I wonder if they ever remade them so you can actually play them now. High definition remaster.
Yes, we're like a 10-year
anniversary on the PS3. But yeah. So there you go. That's my number 4 choice.
Good, and I feel like I think you're nailing the underrated theme as well.
I'm glad to hear it. Just seen that the music for Medal of Honor. I'm gonna completely do his surname wrong, but composed by Michael Giacchino.
Oh yeah, good guy. Did he go to your primary school or something?
No, he did a load of great. He's done a lot of great soundtracks out there, including he did Rogue One, Star Wars Story, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Star Trek reboot. He did Mission. Did he do Mission Impossible?
What, the Mission Impossible?
That's what I'm now wondering. This is what Wikipedia is saying. Iconic. Let's have a look. I'm not sure that's right. Music. No, Alan Silvestri. Oh no, hold on. But he was replaced by Danny Elfman. He must have just composed some of the music, but he's a great composer.
That's cool.
If you Google him, you'll recognise some of his music instantly. But yeah, so there's my number 4. What have you got for number 4?
A game I've talked about before, but so I tried not to, I was considering not using it because I sort of mentioned it, but I think it fits in perfectly in underrated, and that's Time Splitters.
Oh, yeah, I almost included this, but felt I couldn't because of the discussion, but I'm happy for you to choose it. Absolutely happy.
I like that. I didn't because I'm not a piece of shit, Michael.
I don't know, I just feel wrong at the moment picking ones that we've discussed previously.
I know, but I want to try and say something different about it to what I've spoke about before.
But we didn't actually include it in any of our top lists, did we?
It was an honourable mention, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think I used. But yeah, I think one thing that I only found out recently, but as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, do you know what? That makes perfect sense. It was made, the first Time Split, well, I think all of them, by an offshoot of developers who worked on Rare's GoldenEye.
I don't think you mentioned that.
No, I didn't, but I've read about it recently, and I was like, as soon as I read it, I was like, do you know what? It does feel, when I'm thinking about the movement and stuff, it did feel like GoldenEye quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think sometimes now, going back to the Call of Duties and the Battlefields and things, they take themselves too seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
And this was what great. Running around a giant gingerbread man was just hilarious.
I remember, was there a monkey that you could play as?
Yeah, and I think as well, like from a development point of view, I think it's so clever, the concept as well, because by having this sort of time travel element, it meant like set pieces, you could pick so many different things. Whereas again, sometimes with FPS games or just any kind of shooter game, the setting can get stale quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many times you can run through a trench and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Whereas, you could go through the future, you go to the past. I remember that, there being maps where it was like a Western. I remember ones where you were like in the sort of futuristic sci-fi world. And yeah, I think that's even just from a gameplay from a game making point of view, clever to try and keep things fresh and interesting and a bit quirky.
Yeah. And what I do like is, like, if you think about the multiplayer, you wouldn't necessarily play like the deathmatch, would you? It'd be stuff like capture the I'm looking here, it's not capture the flag, it's capture the bag or bag tag. Just a different sort of multiplayer modes that there was. It wasn't just a simple just shoot and you're dead. It was a bit more skill involved, and I really loved those sort of multiplayer shoot 'em up versions where you could literally just do more than just have a death match.
And I think and the reason I say underrated is because I bet there's a lot of people. So I bet anyone that's played this go, I love Time Splitters. It's not underrated, but that's my point. I've never heard of anyone playing it and saying a bad word about it.
No.
Everyone I've heard who played it loved it. So why wasn't there more? We had 3 Time Splitters. That's in my element of why it's underrated. It's not underrated by people that played it, but it must have been, because it must, ultimately money talks, doesn't it? And if enough people were buying the game, there would have been a number 4. So it must have been underrated in terms of, financial element, that it obviously didn't do big numbers like some other games do. Otherwise it would have, been picked up and carried on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that was a really good choice, and I'm happy for it to actually be discussed properly.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's one that I actually played the single player mode on. oddly.
See, do you know what? Interesting. I did, and it was interesting. There's this element where you go back. Well, Time Splitters 2 anyway. I never played the first one, and Future Perfect I only ever played like co-op, couch co-op with a friend. I never played the story mode. But you're travelling through time to try and I can't remember what you're trying to do. You're a time splitter, so there's these time crystals spread across multiple centuries, and you've got to sort of get them back. But I remember, because it's obviously like, you get your team deathmatch, your infection one, that was all interesting.
Yeah.
But they added things in for story mode. Like, I remember I won this snowy mission on Time Splitters 2, and there was this security box where the cameras were watching you, so you could shoot that out with a sniper rifle, and you didn't have to worry about the camera, or you had to sort of sneak around where the cameras weren't pointing your direction, so you didn't get set off the alarm. So it did offer something completely different playing the story mode, which I thought was cool when you look at, like, say, more modern games. Like, I think some of Call of Duty don't even have story mode anymore.
Yeah.
Or some of the later releases.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm gonna Halo and Call of Duty, I think, in my opinion, are the worst for that. They don't focus on story mode at all anymore. I remember getting Halo 3 and completing it within about 2 hours, and being really annoyed. And one of my friends going, "But you don't buy Halo for the single play, for the story." Yes, I do. I like a good story. What is the point of just playing online constantly? In my opinion, I'm not slating those who do, but I want a good story as well as a good multiplayer. In my opinion,
that's crazy. I've never. I really respect Halo, but I've never played it that much. I never had the original Xbox, and then when it got to 360, I don't know. There's such a big fan base. I sort of felt out of my depth playing it online.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this is correct. That I've heard that Halo 2 storyline doesn't finish. So Halo 2 and Halo 3 is the same sort of story across 2 games.
I couldn't tell you because I really didn't enjoy the story in number 3, so I couldn't actually tell. And I've not played Halo 2.
Do you know what I said? That's probably why, mate. It's because they gave you half a goddamn story to play, and it was the second half.
Yeah. But yeah, I do remember playing Halo. Was good for its multiplayer, but again, then when you go online, you're just made to look shit, and you die all the time. And where's the fun?
So, on that depressing note, let's go to number 3.
My number 3 is a game that was always overshadowed by GTA, and that's Driver.
Oh, yeah. I love Driver.
Yeah. It was an absolutely brilliant game. It literally just was basically GTA. There was really not a huge amount of differences from what I remember, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was the third one that I played quite religiously, but there was all great games. I think I played all 3 of them. All 3 of the original ones, but then looking, there seems to have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versions that were made since that. But it was just a great little game. I love any sort of open world sort of games like that, so that's why it always would be a big plus in my eyes.
Yeah, I remember having one of them. I can't remember which one, but I remember I'd never played any storyline. I just used to drive around. That was it.
Exactly. And if a game's that good that you're happy just driving around this open world environment, sandbox style, then it's a good game in my opinion.
I'm trying to see which one it was. I feel like it was Driver 2.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm sure it was. And yeah, like I said, it was. I can see the front cover now, yeah. Like I said, I just literally used to drive around all the time. And then I'd sometimes just try and do it, like normally. Just like try and follow the traffic in the red lights and things like that.
The thing that everyone attempts at some point and fails.
Yeah, with these type of games, yeah. What did you play the storyline then? Was that good? Was that interesting?
I'm sure I played the storyline. I really enjoyed it. It was interesting. Like I said, I can't remember a huge amount about it. But again, these are here because they're games that I remember quite vividly. So unlike our previous forgotten video games, these are ones that I remember quite vividly, but they've not really had any further sequels or anything that you can sort of continue that remembering. There's been other games that have come along since and sort of block those memories out of your mind.
And do you know what? With this as well, and like in all seriousness, like Hogs of War, I'm not going to say Time Splitters, Medal of Honor. Maybe that is why they're underrated. Although we think they deserve more attention and credit, the fact that they don't spring to mind when we're listing top 5 games, top 5 childhood games, maybe that's why. Is that there's some sort of spark missing.
Yeah. I will say with so when you think of Driver 2, is it Driver 2 or is it Driver 1? Driver 1 came out in 1999, okay? And it was a fully 3D world. GTA 2 came out in 1999, and they've only got the top-down technology. So in my opinion, they stole that from Driver
100%.
In terms of that open world 3D gameplay.
I also absolutely love that Driver 2 had a tagline.
What, Driver 2? I don't know what the Driver 2 tagline is.
Driver 2, back on the streets.
Well, in North America, Driver is known as Driver, You Are the Wheelman. And Driver 2 is named Driver 2, The Wheelman is Back.
Oh, I'm much for the English one.
Yeah, just Driver and Driver 2 back on the streets. But yeah, just a great little franchise. I'm trying to remember whether the first one was actually open world. I don't think it was open world. But either way, the open world came way before GTA. When was GTA 3 out?
Do you know what I'd like to see as well, thinking about this? I'd like to see like one of those pictures where they layer things on top of each other. You know, these open world sandboxes, you know, your Skyrims, your Witcher, your GTA.
Yeah.
I'd like to sort of have a picture of like, you know, like Drivers 2 on top of like, I don't know, GTA, San Andreas, to see like what the difference was, how big the open worlds were.
Have you never? I always do that. Genuinely, you can find these maps that people have made in which they show you, it's not necessarily on top, but they sort of like have them side by side and they slowly zoom out the camera to show you each of the worlds and like the biggest worlds out there.
What, of those sandboxes? That's sick.
Of any of the sandboxes out there, yeah.
I need you to find me something.
I'll do that. I do it all the time because I find it really interesting. If I get a new game where it's a new sandbox, I always like to compare it to something else to see how big and vast it is. And I normally try and compare it to GTA San Andreas.
Do you know what, though? I think certain sandboxes, like maybe San Andreas is one of them, but I reckon there's a sweet spot. Because there's been somewhere I'm like, but this is just ridiculous. Like, I love Sandbox much as the next guy, but I mean, I actually almost don't want to play the game because I feel like I'll never scratch the surface. There's too much going on.
Yes. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins at the moment, and to be fair, it's just too big and there's almost nothing in it sometimes. You're just literally riding a camel.
I'm playing Valhalla and I'm absolutely loving it.
Oh, yeah.
That's so good.
Right, should we move on to your number 3?
Yep. Absolutely unbelievable game, and shout out to what's the name of your mate from work?
Scott. Yeah.
Scott for his one way back, and I think we were just top 5 games. I was like, this is definitely an underrated series, and that is Advance Wars. Advance Wars is a turn-based strategy game on the Game Boy Advance, and it was unbelievable.
Is this one that Scott picked as one of his choices then?
Yeah, I think he put it in maybe his honourable mentions, maybe, of his top 5 games.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his list now. Advance Wars on the Game Boy. Yeah,
it was so good. And it was one of those where at first I thought it was really simple. Like I'll go through the story mode and you're going against these other ones and your hero has like special moves. And I thought it was really easy. I thought I was going to absolutely fly through this. But there is so much strategy involved. And there's so much like risk versus reward that it's almost like a sort of little chess game of, you know, you've got your weaker units that you can use as pawns to be sacrificed, whilst you sort of pick you go around maybe the other side and try and flank them from behind. It was so cool, and it's not one that I hear a lot of people have played.
No, I've definitely not heard of it or played it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a Nintendo Switch. So I was desperate to see if they'd get, because I've only ever played the first one. I think the next 2 went on to Nintendo DS, and I never really had it. So I was hoping when I went to Switch that I'd be able to find it. So that shows how much of a good game it was. That was one of the first things I looked for on the Switch.
Yeah, you're just hoping it would be there.
Yeah, there'd be a new one.
The last game, annoyingly, was in 2008.
Yeah, it's a bit like Time Splitters. Again, it's one though that not many people play it. I only ever hear good things. Like I bet if you search like the Metacritic, I bet it's unbelievable because it's such a tight game.
86 out of 100.
86 out of 100, see, that's really good.
That's on the latest one, sorry.
Oh, so the original one, I bet it's better.
So are you on about Advance Wars? Yeah,
I think it's just called Advance Wars, yeah.
Which isn't the original, by the way.
Is it not?
No, hold on, I'll tell you in a second. So Metacritic is 92 out of 100 for that.
See, this is what I mean. Underrated. Like, it is clearly an absolutely unbelievable game.
So it's the Wars franchise, and the first game was called Famicom Wars.
Called what, sorry?
Fammy, not Fammy. Fammy.
I'm like a child.
You are. You instantly hear something.
So yeah, and interesting though, if there's anyone who, like me, absolutely loved Advance Wars, like me and Chris.
Okay, do you want to re-record that so you can actually say his name right?
Well, it's not Chris.
No, it's Scott.
Scott. I don't know why I got Chris in my head.
Do you want me to edit that out?
Yeah, because I mean, Scott's going to be my best man. Scott's going to be my best man at my wedding at this rate. If we keep having similar top 5, so I can't get his name wrong. Yeah, there's a game on Switch called Wargroove. I've not played it myself, but it's meant to be sort of like a spiritual successor to it.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like very similar gameplay mechanics, but I think it's like more like fancy, like sword and shield, rather than big ass tanks.
Hold on, no, Dimitri's still asleep.
I hope he hears this in the future.
Just thinks that his dad doesn't know his name.
I think he'll be angry and be like, Dimitri's a way better name. Why didn't you call me that? That's cool as fuck.
Oh, no. Anyway, so yes, never heard of it, but it sounds like an interesting choice and one that I'm intrigued about myself.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find an emulator or something for you to play. Because honestly, it's so good. Like,
we'll cut this out because that's illegal, Mike.
I want to find a legal. In fact, do you know what? I've actually got it. I'm going to lend you my old Game Boy Advance and Advance Wars.
Sounds like
I just realised I've got it. Yeah,
let's do that.
There you go. Right, moving on to number 2.
Number 2 ties in nicely. I was annoyed that my number 2 didn't come straight after my number 3 because we started talking about Assassin's Creed. Excuse me. And this is completely overshadowed by Assassin's Creed now, and it's Prince of Persia.
Yeah, great game.
Yeah. So when it first came out, in fact, I used to play it again back on the MS-DOS. And there was a little sort of 2D guy who used to sort of go around, and it was all for music, and you had to jump over little platforms, and sort of there'd be little traps, if you will, to sort of step onto, and sometimes they might like release spikes that impale you, or they'll sort of open doors that you can get into, so you'd have to sort of avoid which ones, and it was a great little game. And then Sands of Time came out on the PS2, which was like a sort of not a remastered version, but it was a sequel in which they sort of went fully 3D with it and utilised that. Although I think actually they did do a previous one on Dreamcast, but I'm ignoring that because I've never played it. And it was just a great game, and I feel it had the Assassin's Creed elements that we now see of sort of wall climbing and stuff like that, and great sort of combat gameplay. And there's been loads of games in the franchise. It even had a movie, didn't it? Which wasn't that critically acclaimed.
I didn't mind it.
I've not actually watched it, but I've heard it wasn't that critically acclaimed. It's,
yeah, I think I'm in the minority. I enjoyed it.
Do you know what? I recorded it on Sky the other day, and I do plan on watching it.
It's Jake Gyllenhaal, so it's never going to be bad in my opinion.
I think a lot of criticism came from the casting of Jake.
Really?
Because it's meant to be a Persian man.
Oh well,
because it's the Prince of Persia.
Yeah, it's whitewashing, isn't it? I guess. But
exactly, very much so.
But I always feel bad for the actors in that regard because that's not his fault.
No, that he got cast for it. That I was looking for that. No, I agree. And they're the ones who get slated, but maybe they shouldn't take it in the first place.
I guess so, yeah. That's but again, I think that's more.
Anyway, we're not here to get into a political debate because this feels like very icy grounds. It was just a great little. I think it started off as a trilogy, didn't it? The Sands of Time trilogy, and then there was a few little sort of remakes and remasters and stuff. That ended up being in the franchise. I've got it written down, 14, but. Like, they did a remake this year, and I don't remember hearing anything about it.
No, I don't know why it's not. It was pretty big, wasn't it? I remember seeing Prince of Persia: Warrior Within, that sort of poster with he got like two sort of like curved blades.
Quite possibly.
And I remember seeing that cover everywhere.
Yes, Warrior Within, yes. Yeah, because you had like a dark version of him, didn't you, in that one?
Yeah, and like I remember it being like so big when that came out, and then. You hear nothing of it now.
No, but it's that I definitely remember playing all of them when I was younger. But yeah, you do absolutely hear nothing about it, and it is a great game, one that people deserve to play. Oh, here we go. Remake was announced in 2020 and originally scheduled to release on the January the 21st. It pushed back to March the 18th, so that's like why I've not actually heard about it.
Oh, so it's not actually out yet?
No. Oh. On February the 5th, they announced a second delay to the game, postponing its release indefinitely to deliver a remake that feels fresh while remaining faithful to the original, which I'll accept.
Yeah.
I will happily, if they push it back and sort of bring a claim back to this underrated video game franchise that's sort of not spoken about at all this day and age, then I'm happy.
I also think that they need to stop giving dates to games. Like,
yes.
When it's finished, then set your date.
It's like Cyberpunk. They announced, how many years ago did they announce it? Absolutely donkeys years ago, didn't they? And then like the release date got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and I think the fans started getting angry, and then that's when they released it, and obviously it went down like a lead balloon.
I just don't feel like it's going to improve your sales by announcing a fixed date a year, 2 years in advance. Like, you know, people, if they're excited for the game, it's either a not well-known game, in which case it's not going to help you because you're not going to get any buzz, or it's a big enough franchise, which is normally the ones that do it. It's normally the AAA developers. It's not the sort of AA or the indie developers that are doing this. Just wait till it's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of sort of, they try to build hype too early, don't they? But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think a lot of, I'm going to just call them out now, EA, you scumbags, rely too much on patches later in the game. They'll release a game that's shoddy and just say, oh no, we've got a patch for it. And it's like, no, you should release a game that's good. Yeah. Back when there was cartridges and discs, they released a game that was good. Because if they released a game that had glitches in, it wouldn't do well at all.
Ergo E.T.
I don't think that had glitches in, did it? It was just a shit game.
I thought it was like broken to shit, which is why they...
It was just absolutely awful. Just shit. But either way. But yeah, so Prince of Persia is my number 2 choice for the underrated games. And I'm actually reminiscent and really want to play it now. Like, it upsets me that I can't.
My number 2 is again, yours is definitely underrated, and mine feels like my number 5 a bit. I think people might disagree with this. I think you might disagree with it.
Okay.
100% a franchise. I feel like it might be the best-selling franchise of all time, or it's the best-selling franchise sort of yearly releases. So it's a yearly release game, and has been since, I think, 97, maybe even 96.
Okay.
And that is FIFA.
I should have guessed. I was about to say, is it FIFA?
Now,
how the hell is this underrated? How the hell is this underrated?
Now, as someone who has bought every FIFA since FIFA 98 and not missed a year,
and there's me calling out scumbag EA on the last one.
Yeah, I think it's underrated in terms of it doesn't get enough credit for what it is, because it gets a lot of shit that it's yearly releases and there's barely any changes. It's a waste of money.
Yeah,
it gets a lot of shit since it released Ultimate Team that it doesn't focus on career mode in gameplay as much as it should.
Yeah, it just goes on to gambling.
And I agree with all of those things. It is, a terrible model. It's a scumbag company. But I think because of that, I don't think it gets enough credit for what it is as a game. Like, what it does each year for football fans, I think is amazing. What it does for, FIFA is one of the games that really brought in a non-gaming market. Just to me, it took that group of people, it looked at, that sort of gap in the market. Okay, there are billions of football fans in the world. We can bring them to this game, just to me. And I think I know a lot of people who don't play games but play FIFA.
Oh, yeah.
And own a console just for FIFA. And I think, we can nitpick and talk about how bad a company it is, how bad a model it is. And, there's a lot to take in there. But I do think it's underrated for how powerful it is. Do you know what I mean? I always see these, best-selling games of all time and stuff. And FIFA's just always quietly in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it never really, I don't think it gets the respect it deserves for, A, how big a game it is, and B, like I say, from a sort of marketing, I guess, standpoint, I don't know how to put it, but the fact that what other game brought so many non-gamers to gaming? I can't think of one off the top of my head that did it.
No, I'll agree with that, but I'm still not convinced it's underrated because it's absolutely loved by so many people.
And yeah, it's not. I fucking hate FIFA and I buy it every year.
See,
every year I play it for 2 hours and go, why the fuck did I buy this? It's shit. It's got the same bugs. There's still not anything to career mode, but I still buy it.
Just because you want to, I've forgotten the character's name, but you want to find out what happens to him. That's why you do it.
What's it to FIFA?
No, the guy not in the career mode, in the story mode, I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah, I never played that. Alex Hunter was the first.
That's it, Alex Hunter, yeah.
And now they've gone to some Volta shit.
Oh, really?
Which I've not picked up. Yeah, it's like FIFA 98, by the way, was the best one, but by a million miles. And they used to have 5-a-side.
FIFA 98, was that the one with the World Cup as well?
Yeah.
No. Was 98 the World Cup, or was it 96?
The France World Cup.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, 96 was Euro
96, yeah. Yeah, I remember having the World Cup edition of that one.
Yeah, it's quality. It's alright. I just, like I said, I know that's one that I'm going to get a lot of crap for. But
you're getting crap about it from me. I'm still going to give you crap. I'm still not convinced. If you'd picked this as number 5, I might have respected you a little bit more.
But like I said, but this is my point. And this is why it's underrated, I think. The fact that everyone is going to say I'm a dick for picking it shows that it's underrated, I think, because, I think for what it does, from a graphical standpoint, from like a technological standpoint, I think it's impressive. And I think it gets so much hate And a lot of it deservedly so. That we do sort of forget like what a great game it is, even if it doesn't change enough.
Yeah, I do get FIFA every couple of years because, unlike you, I don't buy into it every single year. But every couple of years, there's enough of a change for me to sort of enjoy it again.
See, and I'm hoping to get to that point. And you know what? And full credit to him. You know, Pro Evolution Soccer.
Yeah.
And by the way, although I've played every FIFA game, Pro Evolution Soccer 6 might be the best football I've ever played.
See, I haven't played Pro Evo in so long, but I remember it. I enjoyed it more than FIFA. I felt there was more fluidity to the players.
There was a stage, like I said, PES 5 and PES 6 for me overtook FIFA, and then FIFA had to step the game up a bit. I think they realised they were losing sales to it for the first time. It was noticeable.
Yeah.
But PES recently did. I think PES 2020 was a full price game like FIFA 20, and then you could pay £20 for next year's game, which was just a squad update, kit update. You know what I mean? So they freshened it up a bit, but ultimately they were like, well, we don't need to make a brand new game because...
That's actually... I like that.
I do, and I think, for years people have wanted FIFA to do that. They never will because they make too much money from it every year.
Absolutely.
Particularly with Ultimate Team now because, you go to next year, all these kids that have spent all that money on their packs for their new team are going to have to do it again for the new FIFA, the new Ultimate Team. But
yeah.
From an ethical point of view, they've surely got to do that soon.
Yeah. No, I'm not convinced about the choice. Email in if you disagree as well. Let's get a petition going that Mike's wrong. Mike likes the petitions.
Hashtag it. Yeah. Mike is wrong.
Hashtag Mike is wrong or Mike is right. And we'll see which gets the most hashtags.
Bear with me 1 second. Sean's just coming, so I'm going to shut the door and say hello quick. I'll be 10 seconds.
Sean is coming, so he's hiding. He's about to shut the door, lock her out.
Like a child. Hey, Sean. I think she's let the dog out. We're safe.
We are safe. You've locked yourself in.
I think we're on to Honourable Mentions. And this week's episode, Honourable Mentions, are sponsored by who, Mike?
Hoolies.
Hoolies?
I don't know. I panicked.
I was waiting. Well, that's our comedy bit gone. Repartee.
Who are they sponsored by, Mike?
They are sponsored by Joruk for his and her pleasure. Which is ironic because we've announced the birth of your baby on this one.
Yes.
I feel like we should come up with big sponsors each time for it from now on. And just hope that one day they sort of like go, oh shit, we haven't paid these guys. We must have signed up to sponsor them.
Is this us selling out without selling out?
Yeah, that's it. So this week's Honourable Mention is sponsored by Tesla, the green car.
Oh, yes, I like that.
Can you imagine if we got a free Tesla from? I mean, we won't, but can you imagine?
How many times do you think we have to say Tesla before they give us a free Tesla?
I feel like Elon Musk is weird enough that if this somehow got done at this really tiny podcast, was pretending to sponsor them, that he may just for the banter just go, yeah, go on then.
Come on, Elon, you're a good guy. Old E-Musk.
E-Musk.
E-Musk. That's what I call him.
Talking of what I mentioned though, in all seriousness, I've got one as usual. How many have you got?
2 as usual.
So let's hear your first, then I'll do mine, and then we'll do your second.
Well, I think mine can go together because they're similar-esque games.
Okay.
They're both open world games.
Yeah.
Both only had 2 games in the franchise. Both begin with the G, and it's The Godfather and The Getaway.
Oh, The Getaway.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I never played The Godfather, but
Godfather was fantastic. It sort of like took the events of the first movie, and I never played the second one, but you'd go around and sort of like you'd collect your debts, if you will, from all the different sort of businesses out there and slowly build up your empire around you. And it was great because it had the classic vehicles in it. So did The Getaway. It had the classic vehicles from like the 60s, and then they did the sequel. The second one was set in London.
Is that called Black Monday?
Yeah, Black Monday I think it was called. And I remember my dad playing it and driving past like his work and being like, oh, that's where I work, and then taking me on a little tour of London. Both great franchises.
That's cool.
But are they franchises if there's only 2 games in the series? Apparently so, because you picked Hogs of War, which only has 1.
What I like is there's still a bit of residual anger there. I mean, you fucked me. We've called it Mammon. You can't replace me as a host now. That's it. You stuck with me until you find another Mike.
Or someone else beginning with M.
Yeah.
Mike and Matt on...
Yeah, but still Mike and Mike on Mike still, yeah.
It doesn't work.
I
Unless we hosted it sitting on top of a Matt. Mike and Matt, or Matt and Mike.
That would work.
That would. Anyway, moving on.
Well, I love the getaway, but I don't think I could get past the first mission.
I can't remember it. What happened?
I don't know. I just remember, I think you're being chased or you're chasing someone. I just couldn't complete it. But I remember really replaying this one mission over and over at my friend's house once.
I think Mafia, which is another great underrated franchise, Mafia 1 or 2, I could never complete the first mission. It was like something in the house and you was being shot at or something, or you shooting in the house and I'd always die. So these are video game franchises that we've never played past the first level. Right, anyway, let's hear your honourable mention.
Well, this... The reason why I'm a bit quiet then is because I was like, I feel like I'm getting in trouble again with you. This is a bit of a FIFA one, not as bad though. This is definitely a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of them. Loads of DLC.
Oh, here we go.
It's a pretty big game, but I don't know if it gets the
recognition. Oh my god, I've missed one off my list.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm such an idiot. There's one that 100% should have been my number 1, but I can't bump this one down. Oh, we'll move on.
we'll hear it after my honourable mention.
Yeah, I'll mention it as an honourable number 1 mention.
So mine is The Sims.
Okay.
I think it's one of those that I think it's got a decent following, but I don't know if it's as like mainstream as I don't know, like a shooting game per se. I don't know. I know it's a bad call, but I just don't think it gets enough credit for what an amazing game it is. Like, it's not for me personally. I've played 2, 3, and a bit of 4, but I've never played much. I've never sunk many hours into it.
Yeah.
But I've always appreciated what it is as a game.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I'm glad you picked it as an honourable mention. If it was any higher, I would have slapped you.
That would have been it. Done.
Yeah. We would have met up on the 9th of May, and I would have slapped you.
So that's my honourable mention.
Okay.
What's your should have been on the list?
I'm looking at it now, so I'm glad I had forgotten about it because I'm not sure it can be called a franchise again. Because there's 2 games in it that I'd consider to be in it, and they are what's the word? They're not they don't seem to be sort of sequels, but I always consider them to be sequels. Mm-hmm. And it is the 2 games are Sonic and All-Star Racing and Team Sonic Racing.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from me, so it means nothing. I wouldn't consider them franchises, which is...
But yet you picked a game that has 1 game on it.
But it felt like a franchise.
But yeah, I've never actually played Team Sonic Racing, but Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, absolutely loved. And I remember, it just seemed to be a better Mario Kart. That was my opinion of it. It was just so much better. And one of my favourite things about it is amongst all the sort of odd characters, so you'd have Sonic and people from Space Channel 6, Jet Set Radio, Super Monkey Ball, Crazy Taxi, and Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. There was also Danica Patrick as herself, who's a professional race car driver. And I just loved it. Amongst all those characters, there was just a real person to play as.
It sounds a bit weird, that does. Wait, Wreck-It Ralph was in it?
Yeah, it was genuinely a really, really good game.
When did it come out?
The first one came out in 2012. I remember we used to sneak into a lecture room, me and a bunch of mates, that we knew no one went into, and we hooked up our PlayStation to it, and we just play games on it, and that was one of the ones that we'd always play a lot of.
You get caught?
No. Cool. Yeah, it was really sort of hidden. It was in a block that I remember. I can't remember what sort of the name of the block was. But we only had 1 lecture in there, but one of my friends had quite a lot of lectures in there. But we only had 1, and it'd be a maze to get in there. And a few years ago, on April 1st, they released a news story in Bristol saying about a guy who got lost in there for 5 days and had to survive on snacks he found underneath drawers and things like that. Because it genuinely was amazing. People get lost. And I read it, and I genuinely, for a split second in my head, believed it.
Because you're yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. I can see that happening. But yeah, no, it's a great game. Not sure it's a franchise because it doesn't really seem to be a sequel, which surprised me. I thought they were related, the 2 of them, but they're not. But yeah, that's my little... Should have been on the list, but not on the list, but actually should have been on the mention, but I completely forgot about it until just now.
I feel like this podcast has put you in a bad mood. I'm pissing you off with my franchises that aren't underrated. then you get pissed off that these games aren't made into sequels.
Mate, I'm going to be genuinely, I think, really annoyed with your number 1 choice, aren't I?
No, but this is great.
Is it?
This is one of the best games I've ever played.
All right, let's do the swish and move on.
Swish. Oh, you mean...
Well, yeah, I was going to edit that in, dickhead.
Right, let's hear your number one.
My number one is, again, a game that I feel got overrated by Need for Speed. So I think the games that I picked are ones that there's very similar games out there.
Wait, if you just come in and told me it's Need for Speed?
No.
Oh, about to say...
No, it's very similar for Need for Speed.
Right.
And it's Burnout.
Oh, yeah, I mean, great game.
And another game that Scott picked in his honourable mentions for his top games of all time. But absolutely fantastic. I remember, in fact, the first three just being obsessed with. Like, really, really, absolutely amazing. I don't think, I'm not sure I got Legends. Pretty sure I got Revenge. Don't think I got Dominator. And Burnout Paradise I've also got. But Burnout Paradise is nowhere near as good as the originals.
See, that's the one I played the most.
Really?
I wasn't a huge... Oh, wait, no, is that 2018 it came out?
What, Burnout?
Oh, no, 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one I played. Oh, no, wait.
I don't think Burnout...
Takedown.
Takedown was one of the best ones. Burnout Paradise was an open world map. That was huge, but it didn't have the same feel to it. I think it's because it didn't have the multiplayer. Whereas Burnout 3 Takedown had the multiplayer, and it was just something fun about just literally using your cars to completely wipe out other cars. And it was really well done the way they did it. Sort of like you could nudge them if they could hit a wall, they'd be completely wiped out, or you could use a jump and land on top of them and wipe them out. And it was a frantic, amazing video game.
Yeah, I'm not a big racing fan, to be honest, but I really enjoyed this when I played it round. This was a good play around your friend's house, wasn't it, game as well?
Yeah. I remember my dad once going on the motorway and then going really fast, speeding around another car, and he was like, oh my god, I thought I was just playing Burnout for a split second. Completely forgot he was in the real world. Probably not true. I think he was just winding us up, but I still remember him saying it.
I mean, that like 7-car pileup he caused, though, was,
I know.
It was awful.
But yeah, that was a great thing. You could do the crashes, couldn't you? Which you'd set your car off, and depending on where, you had to sort of like cause the most carnage. And it was a fantastic game, and like I said, Burnout Paradise didn't come anywhere close to having the sort of originality that the original ones have. It sort of tried to be a generic racing game, whereas that wasn't what Burnout was about.
Yeah, I think that's what, as someone who wasn't a massive, into racing games, I think that's what I liked. It felt fresh, didn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was very different. Like, I used to play games that felt a bit fresh. I remember there was a Stunt Driver one that I played in which you had to sort of get around a stunt track on a movie scene as quick as possible, and then at the end of it they'd show you the movie that you'd made, which was a lot of fun. But I liked the original sort of style of these games that were out there.
This is completely random, but you just, this idea where you said you do the Stuntman one and then you get to watch your stunt thing. Firstly, yeah. That sounds sick. Did you ever play a game on PC called The Movies?
Yes, I think I did.
Oh my god, it was so good, like The Sims, but you were in control of the movie. Oh my god, I was obsessed with that. That's okay. Fuck Hogs of War, the new petition. Burnout Paradise on Switch.
Yes, it is. And again, not played it because I don't enjoy it that much.
No, it's just cool though, isn't it? I mean, it's the wrong one, obviously, but...
It was a remastered one, wasn't it?
The wrong choice, though.
I'm going to get back to you about that stunt car racing game, because I think you'll be interested in it.
Yeah, I think that sounds really cool.
I'll try and, at the end of the episode, or after your number one, try and say what it is.
Okay.
And if I can't remember, guys, email in.
My number one is so good that this weekend I'm buying both the games in the franchise.
Really?
Yeah, so there's 2 games in the franchise, and then it's spawned off a sequel. Well, I thought it was going to be a sequel, but it turned into a massively multiplayer online game. But there's lots of real talks about there's going to be a third one in the series because EA's rights to the IP is gone.
Okay, is it Star Wars?
It is Star Wars.
Yeah.
I played them both on PC, but I remember it was pretty big. Because I never had the original Xbox, so I don't know if maybe you did, didn't you, I think?
Yes, I did, but so I've genuinely, if it's the game that I'm thinking of, I've not played it, and I really want to.
It's called Leisure Suit... No, it's called...
Which I have played.
Have you? I've never played it.
No, I have.
Knights of the Republic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I've never played it.
Oh,
but it's one that I really, really want to. It's one that sort of, eluded me, and then, as I've got older, it's like, where can I actually get hold of it? Where can I get hold of it?
It's so good. You can get it on iOS, so I'm assuming you can get it on Android as well. You can get it on...
Yeah, but it's not going to be
PC.
The same, is it?
You can get it on PC and laptop. You can get it on... I think you can get it on Xbox Game Pass. I feel like I've heard. I feel like it's on Game Pass.
Okay.
But it's one of the best RPGs I've ever played. I love that both of them, you start off and you're not the Jedi. So you always end up becoming one and getting your lightsaber, but you've got to work for it, you've got to earn it. And I think I love that concept. It's one of the first games I remember playing that had a morality system where, decisions you made put you more towards light and more towards dark. And if you were dark side, you had different force powers to light side. So there was that's good because, when I play any game with morality system, I always go good. I don't know why.
I don't.
I just feel bad. I think it's when... Did you ever play a game? Oh, what was it? I think it was called Gun.
No.
I think it was just called Gun.
It's pronounced Gun, by the way.
Yes, Gun.
Gun. Gun.
Gun. All right, Southerner. So it's called Gun. And I remember accidentally throwing a Molotov cocktail at an enemy and it hit a horse instead. And it set on fire and I was like, oh my God, I feel like the biggest scumbag in the world.
Awful.
Yeah, it was horrendous. But anyway... This was the only game where, because of the payoff, it didn't force me to be either good or bad, but just because I preferred the evil force moves, I went bad.
Okay.
And I played both of them several times. And I remember playing the first one, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's this decision you can make where essentially you can choose right towards the end to kill one of the characters that you've brought into your party, who you've obviously developed like a fondness for because you met them, you brought them into your party, you've gone on adventures together, and you can kill them off. Just like that, you can make this decision, which then turns you straight evil as well, which was cool. And yeah, there was like a real, to me like that. I was even thinking about doing. I was like, that is horrendous.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember the storylines being so good. And when I think of how shit the recent Star Wars, the trilogies anyway. I mean, Rogue One's one of the best Star Wars films I've ever seen. It's the best in my opinion.
And it's underrated, but Solo's actually really good as well.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, moving on then. Clearly not a fan.
It's better than the trilogies.
Yeah,
the new trilogy anyway. But yeah, I can't believe they've not taken the games. That time period and those storylines are so good. They could easily be converted into film. And again, it's definitely underrated because they've never quite been able to sort of. Again, it's one of those I don't think enough people have played. And secondly, it's so good and it's rated so highly by people that play it and critics that the only reason I can see that a third one was never made is again a bit like with my choice for Time Splitters. Got to be financial. There can't have been enough people playing the game to warrant making the third, or to force the hand of the game studio.
Yeah.
So yeah, Knights of the Old Republic. If you haven't played it, it's one of the best games you'll ever play in your life. It's
one of those ones that I do want to fish out. Not sure it's underrated again.
Well, the last thing I'll say for it, I'm just going to ignore that because I feel like I've banged you too much as underrated. Brush over that. If this wasn't a big enough compliment about how good the game was, I don't really like Star Wars that much.
No,
I don't hate it, but I'm not a massive fan of it that much. And this game, I play not because of Star Wars, but because it's just a cool game.
Yeah.
So good.
No, I'll let you have it. But I do want to play it. It does sound really intriguing. I'm sure I did try it on the Android, actually, after you mentioned that it's out on iOS and Android. But I think because of the controls, it wasn't great.
Yeah, so, I can't imagine playing it with anything but a keyboard and mouse, to be honest. Even though, it's turn-based, so you don't need to be as fluid as you would with a mouse or with a controller. I just genuinely can't imagine playing it with anything else.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Good shout. And some games that were both mentioned that I really want to go back and replay.
Yeah, which one oh yeah, Lemmings. I'm going to play Lemmings. You're going to play
Lemmings. A bit earlier when you went to close the door on Shauna, I just downloaded Lemmings to my phone.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, to replay that. Yeah, I really want to play Burnout again, but I'm not sure where I'll be able to get hold of the originals. I really, really want to play the Medal of Honor Frontline, was it, we decided?
Yeah, it was definitely Frontline, the D-Day one.
Yeah, that's the one that I really want to go back and replay. Driver, really want to go back and replay.
I feel like I played, Call of Duty World War II.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I played the D-Day section of that. It didn't feel, all the fancy graphics and all the rest of it, it didn't have the same feeling of being in a war that Medal of Honor had.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about Medal of Honor, but it was just really, because it wasn't realistic in the slightest, because it was quite bad graphics at the time.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah,
but it just felt real. It sort of, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it put stories of real people into it.
Yeah, I seem to remember. Yeah, you played like whether or not they were real, they made them seem like real people. You played their sort of their point of that history. Yeah, I feel like that's true. I feel like I can almost see like one of those sort of like manila envelopes that they opened up and they had like pictures of the people.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. And for those who are listening to find out, and have just listened to this final bit just to find out what it is, the video game I'm thinking of in which you play the stuntman is called Stuntman.
That's a tricky one to remember.
Yeah.
I understand.
But the sequel's called Stuntman Ignition. You can actually still get the Stuntman Ignition on the Xbox.
Nice.
So you should buy that, and when we're allowed to, I'll come over and play it again. But yeah, it was great because you used to be able to. So there are 2 games, so it could be included in the franchise, and that's definitely underrated.
Yeah, I don't think I've even heard of it, to be honest. So, yeah,
like I said, you literally just played as a motion picture stuntman, and you perform the stunts, but it was really difficult because, like, even though, like, I remember the physics being really realistic, but you'd have to retry the levels so many times, which I think some people saw as a criticism. But I really enjoyed making sure I got the stunts bang on perfect, because then, like I said, they made sort of a movie with you doing the stunt at the end, like with your actual gameplay. It was quite cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so there we go. There we have it. Our top 5 underrated video game franchises.
More importantly, it's this next week's If You Guess It, Mike has to do something stupid.
Which I'm not sure is going anywhere. No one's messaged anything.
Have they not?
No. So I don't know if you want to stop this.
No, I want it. This one, I'm going to come to your house when it's allowed and cook you the hottest thing I can cook, and you have to eat it.
Oh, okay, I like that. That's fun, but yeah, I like that one.
And it's not
a bit more realistic.
Yeah, and I'm going to make it easier to guess as a result of this because it's easy to get. So, what do you say about a number between? No, not a number. If you can guess my favourite band.
Okay, that's fair.
Because we've not really touched on music, so it would be. Have you got enough of my personality to go? This is his favourite band. If you're, Scott likes a lot of the same stuff, so maybe his favourite band's mine. Maybe that's the guess for him to go. Maybe. So, obviously you can bleep this bit out, but my favourite band... Do you know it, actually?
Well, I'm going to guess I'll bleep this bit. Is it...
It is.
I'm going to go with...
No.
I wasn't far off, though.
I don't think you're a million miles away.
Anyway, I will bleep all that, the little guesses and what sort of style it was, so I give no clues.
Nice one. So... Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be a good one, that.
Yeah, and then maybe on the back of that, in a couple of months, because we have actually got a lot planned in right now. In a couple of months, we'll do our top 5 bands and songs and artists and things like that. Get a music one going.
Do you know what I thought? Now we've got Instagram as well. If we do this chili challenge, we can record it as an Instagram story.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be on there.
Me cooking it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I didn't know I got Instagram. I showed you, didn't I?
No, I don't think you did, but I saw on Twitter today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd get Instagram started. And can I just say, Mike, I literally was doing it for an hour, and I had more followers than you have on Twitter.
Yeah, no.
You need to up your game.
The problem is I don't know anything about it.
That's the thing. I don't know how to use Twitter in the slightest, so I can't take over doing that. I've learned how to use Instagram today. I've never used it before. But, yeah, there we go. So, yes, guess Mike's favourite band to see me eat some really spicy food. And if you haven't seen me eat some spicy food, it is on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, by the way, I'm like absolutely dreadful with it, with spicy food.
See, I used to be. So, for a bit of context, I did a chili challenge a few years ago, and it is actually online. Clifton Chili Club, I think it was like 2014 maybe, at Grillstock, and I don't think I did too badly. And looking at other people in other competitions, I could have won. Like, I think the year afterwards, I would have won. But this year, it seems to have all the best people in the world doing it. And it was absolutely horrendous. My whole arm and leg went numb. I physically couldn't feel them.
Yeah, see, I've heard stories of like people who've done them and then had to go to hospital for like vomiting so much. So
yeah, there's a paramedic on standby.
There won't be when I do it.
The worst thing about it was TMI. Maybe, who cares? I had constipation afterwards, and I was sat there just dreading it coming out.
Was it bad? Or was it not that bad in the end?
The thing is, I think because it ended up getting a bit diluted, because of it. If anything, it was a godsend I had it. But yeah, apparently the first shit afterwards is horrendous.
Well, you'll have to. I want you to do the Instagram story. Be on the toilet talking through the pain afterwards.
It'll just literally be you videoing the door of me just going, nope, nope, nope.
Oh my God, is that blood?
Oh dear.
Right, I'm going to go because I'm fucking starving.
Yes, I'm quite hungry too.
And, well done, baby.
Yeah, you was about to say his name there.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Yeah, it's Reginald.
Well done, Reginald, for not ruining things.
Yeah, well done, Reggie. So next week, do we want to announce what we're doing?
Yeah, because I've not got my piece of paper handy, so I'd like to know for myself as well.
We'd literally had a conversation about it just before we filmed this, so I'm glad your memory's still there, Mike.
Yeah.
And it's top 5 books.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you know what? This will be my hardest one, I think.
See, I think this will be one that, for me, I'm going to struggle with because I'm not that big a reader. I really enjoyed books when I was younger, but I'm quite slow at reading, and I think I lose focus and just give up. So a lot of my ones are going to be stuff from when I was younger, like going on a bear hunt and stuff like that, maybe.
I think that's fine.
The Mr. Men books.
Yeah.
I think I'll have a lot of sort of teenage, young adult style ones, but I'm looking forward to hearing your ones, and
My honourable mention, for instance, is not a book that I rate. I don't think it's very well written, but I like it. It had a sort of profound impact on me as a child. So
yeah,
I think it's fine to go for childhood ones anyway.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey really did impact you, didn't it?
Big time.
Oh, here we go. Donald's waking up.
Okay, on that note then, that's a good time to call it, I think, isn't it?
That is. Thanks for listening. And also, while we're here quickly, find us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at Mammon Podcast, and email in with any suggestions or your top 5 underrated video game franchises at mammonpodcast@hotmail.com.
And thank you again to our sponsors, Tesla. They to give us both a Tesla car as payment was incredibly kind.
I know, just so. We've actually had 3 because we're also trying to get. Is that Activia? Yeah, Activia to sponsor us.
Genuinely, it will change your shit in life. It's not even a joke. Like, get on it. Have that as your breakfast each morning. You'll be a new man or woman.
Right, and on that, we'll see you next week.
See you next week, everyone.
Bye.